Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to today's meeting of Sattvic Toastmasters Club. I'm Lakshmi Nair DTM, your Sergeant at Arms for today. Before we begin the meeting, let me take you through some ground rules for the smooth conduct of the meeting. Please put yourself on mute when you are not speaking. Please do not interrupt while someone is speaking. Be attentive throughout the meeting and support the speakers with your warm smiles and claps. Let's now have a great meeting. Let me hand over the controls to DTM Raghu for taking the meeting forward now. Over to you, DTM Raghu.
Thank you very much, DTM Lakshmi Nair. What a wonderful day, and we have wonderful news too. Sattvic Toastmasters is now live. Live in the sense the club charter documentation has been submitted and the payment done. And will soon be officially club. Can we have a big round of applause for all the team and the members? Wonderful. Sattvic Toastmasters is committed for your growth in communication skills. Same time, it's all about your healthy life. Today we have a wonderful topic coming up. With that note, we have this wonderful lady who is always enthusiastic to learn and to grow and to become a better version. Where else can we do that unless in Toastmasters? Vrunda version 2.0 already as the Toastmaster of the day. Vrunda.
Well, thank you, Toastmaster Raghu, for this introduction. And let me introduce myself. So hello again, hello Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Welcome to this week's meeting of Sattvic Toastmasters. I acknowledge all the visiting Toastmasters and guests who are attending today's meeting. So Sattvic Toastmasters is a very newly chartered online Toastmasters club, as DTM Raghu just mentioned. And some of you may be wondering, what does Sattvic means? So Sattvic is derived from a Sanskrit word named Sattva, which means purity, health, harmony, and well-being. And Sattvic Toastmasters Club focuses on leading a Sattvic or healthy lifestyle, self-healing, research and debate on alternative medicine, intercultural experiences, interpersonal communication, we are Toastmasters after all, storytelling, critical thinking. So the advantage of attending a Sattvic Toastmasters meeting is that not only will you enhance your communication skills, but will also build connections with like-minded health enthusiasts. So before I invite our keynote speaker for today, let me explain the meeting format for today and introduce the role players for today. So the first section is a keynote speech. Our keynote speaker today is DTM Dr Som aka Dr Som. So Dr Som is a gynecologist by profession and currently attached with Manipal University College, Malaysia, as a professor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. He has a special interest in reproductive medicine. He has worked in districts of India and Maldives post the tsunami. Just a few more lines. He has been a Toastmaster. It's a very inspiring fact here. He has been a Toastmaster for 8 years and served in various leadership roles at the club, division, and district levels. He has done DTM, that is the District Toastmasters, both in the Legacy program and also the Pathways program. Doctor, I just wonder, how do you do all this? He is also a Maxwell Leadership Certified Speaker and Trainer, and he has a fellowship in interprofessional education from Famer Philadelphia. It's a tongue twister for me today, Philadelphia. So the next section after the keynote speech is the prepared speech, and that section will have a prepared speech by Toastmaster Arav Saxena. This will be followed by the very popular table topics section, and table topics are 1 to 2 minutes of speeches where you speak off the cuff. The next section after this would be evaluations, and we have a few role players who will be helping us with evaluating the speeches and giving feedback on multiple aspects. So let me first introduce our timer for today, Toastmaster Vamsi. Can you please show us the timer cards and explain how will you be helping us as a timer today?
Sure, Vrunda. First, I will give my introduction, then I will go into the details. As a timer, I will note the speeches and evaluations and table topics. I will also alert the speaker. They have left the time using the green, yellow, and red cards. Currently, it's not handy. I will alert that the using cards. And keynote speaker is the timing is 20 minutes, and the speaker the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. I will raise the green card at 5 minutes, and yellow at the sixth minute, and red at the 7th minute. For table topics, this time limit is 1 to 2 minutes. I will show the green card at the 1 minute, and I will show the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and I will show the red card at 2 seconds. Yeah. And evaluations, the time limit is 2 to 3 minutes. I will show the green card at 2 minutes, and yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and I will show the red card at 3 minutes. 3rd minute. Yeah, that is the overall. I will submit the report after the speeches, evaluations, and table topics. Yeah. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vamsi. That's really good. The next, we have the R counter. So the R counter will be helping us improve the quality of our speeches by pointing out the crutch or filler words we use. Toastmaster J.K. Arora, can you explain your role today as an R counter? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vrinda. Good morning, everyone. My role today is, the purpose is to, I have to check the overused words or the filler word used by anyone. And then in the end, I have to just summarize it, how you can improve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster J.K. Arora. And last but not the least, we have a grammarian who will bring our attention to clean any grammatical issues that we have with our speeches, as well as introduce us to a word of the day and possibly an idiom of the day. Toastmaster Pratik, can you help us explain your role and the word of the day and the idiom of the day, please?
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Vrinda, for inviting me for the grammarian role. So the word of the day, so grammar plays a very important role in our life, wherever we speak, wherever we communicate, whether online, whether offline, whether in family, everywhere, to give the right intent or content of what we are speaking. So I will be playing that important role today. So the word of the day which I have decided to give is respond, not react. In many situations, we just react to the situation and things go wrong. So my word of the day today is respond, not react. You can even use only response or respond the word as a word, because it is not just a word, it is a sentence. So you can use a word respond. So respond, not react is the word of the day. You can use this word of the day in your speeches, whether it is evaluation or table topic, or whenever you are speaking or coming on screen. I will be noting the good usage of the words and not so good usage of the word, and giving my report when called for. That is all from my side. Back to Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pratik. And the culture in Toastmasters is, whenever you see anyone using the word of the day or the idiom of the day, you can snap your fingers this way or clap your hands to encourage the good use of the word of the day. So with that said, now before we move on to the theme of the day, let me just speak a little bit more about what the theme is. So the keynote speech theme today is living with menopause. Menopause is the time that marks the end of a woman's menstrual cycle. But do you know that menopause is also called the second teenage phase in a woman's life? Imagine women get to have 2 teenage years in their life, and it is really called a second teenage or an adolescent phase in a woman's life. So why is menopause called the second phase of teenage? And that's because it is just like in teenage phase, even in a menopause phase, there are hormonal changes that can have a significant impact on a woman's physical and emotional well-being. And here are some interesting things to know. While menopause can potentially present its own set of difficulties, it is also a time for a woman to reevaluate her priorities, focus on her personal growth and self-discovery. And this may lead to a desire, please note, a desire to new interest, new hobbies, or new career paths. This woman could be someone in your family, a friend, a colleague, and it will not only probably impact just the woman or people around them, but mind you, the entire family may have to survive the emotional roller coaster ride. So what it is like to be living with menopause? How can we offer a caring and supportive presence that can help our relationship dynamics as women transition through this phase? To understand all this, let me invite DTM Dr Som, a gynecologist by profession and working as a professor in Manipal University. I already read out his introduction. He is a best resource to help us navigate through this phase. So with all this, I welcome Dr. Som. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vrinda. First and foremost, congratulations to Sattvic Club. Now you can take off the word proposed from next meeting onwards, I believe, or as soon as you get it. Thank you very much for inviting me again. Looks like I may have incited some interest in you in the last talk. As you heard in the introduction, they said I'm special interest in reproductive medicine, that is with regards to subfertility. But this is the one topic that I cannot say, no, I'm not interested because of its importance in our life. And as you saw Toastmaster Vrinda nicely outlining my objectives for the talk, she could feel what I'm going to talk about today. Thank you. First and foremost, let me just quickly share my slides and then I will take you to the topic. So as you can see today, I think next time, if I ever come to this club, I will take off that proposed club. Just ignore that. You don't see that now. Already mentioned. Today, at the end of 20 minutes, I'm going to try to get these points through. And if I can do that, then this 20 minutes is worth the while. Many times we say menopause, stopped menstruation. And that's what is menopause? It's not just stopping menstruation. There's so many things to it. So I would also talk about the symptoms and associated problems. There are many, but we will narrow down to the major ones. And as a layman, not a doctor, but as a layman, how you would be able to take informed decision towards the solution. Now, question is, what is menopause? But before I go into the talk, there are a couple of things. One, if you have any questions, please do keep writing in the chat box. I will see it from time to time, or at the end, it'll help me to answer you faster. Number two, now this is something that I want you to do. I will give you a statement now. And if you agree, you type 1. If you don't agree, you type 0. The sentence is, menopause is the end of active life in a woman. Menopause is the end of active life in the woman. I guess it would be predictable. You can type, don't worry, this typing will not come in the recording. Okay, it's going only one-sided. Right, thank you. Thank you for your response. It's still coming on. When I say active life, I have not specified it. It is actually about reproductive life. So after menopause, it ends the reproductive life. But as Toastmaster Brinda also mentioned, life doesn't end. And do you know why life doesn't end? Because most of the women, like almost 40% of women, will be in menopausal age group come 2025. I'll show you the graph later. Now, why do women have menopause? If you probably Google, they would say, if the lady does not have 12 months of periods or menstrual flow, that is considered as menopause. Yeah, that's correct. But the question is why? When a fetus is born as a girl, at the birth time, each of the ovaries, a total of 6 million oocytes or follicles are there. That means eggs in a very simple terms. Now, as the girl reaches puberty, there's only around 3 to 4 lakhs of those follicles or eggs are remaining. And those are the reserves of the ovary. Every cycle, every menstrual cycle, she has to produce 1 mature egg. And for that, she has to spend around 20-25 or even more, depending on the body dynamics, every cycle. So by the time when she finishes all her follicles, that's when menopause occurs. That means after that, there is no more follicle to create ovulation or any more menstrual cycle. And that's why we come across something where there is complete cessation of menstrual flow. That is menopause. I know I see a lot of guys here. So they're wondering, is there anything for guys like that? Or guys are like potent throughout their life? No, there is something called andropause, but that's beyond the discussion of today's topic, maybe some other time. But I won't say I'm qualified to talk about that. Right, so moving on, as I was mentioning, by the year 2025, there will be 40% of women who will be in the menopausal state. Right now, the figure is around 36.5%. So this is a group of population we cannot ignore. And they will come with their own set of problems, own set of needs and requirements. And these women or these ladies would have so much of experience and they can contribute to the society. So definitely they cannot be ignored. Now the question is, when do women menopause? Well, I gave you a figure, 3 to 4 lakhs follicles at puberty. Now this is not a mathematics class that, okay, so it cannot be 4 lakh 1. No, it's a range. It can be more, it can be less. So if the lady has more follicles, they will go on beyond a certain age. The age would be 45 to 55. So some women can even have menopause at 52. Average age, as far as Malaysia, where I'm practicing, is concerned, is around 48 to 52. So between that age, it can be earlier. But if it happens before 40, that's called premature menopause. That is something that you should know. It cannot happen, or it should not happen before 40, then definitely there's some issues. Now, the major problem of menopause is, okay, you already seen that 2/3 of women, this is an Indian statistics, 2/3 of women do not discuss their menopausal issues. They don't want to. They probably wait till the last bit when they cannot tolerate. That's when they come up with that. Now, why I say this is a problem? Because many problems like malignancies or cancers can do very well or can be treated or put into remission very fast if they come in early stages. But in this case, if the lady do not talk to you, do not express their problems, it ends up with the third stage or fourth stage, even with distant metastasis. That means it has spread everywhere, and that's when they come because they probably cannot breathe well, or they cannot walk, or even having severe pain the whole of the body. That's a major problem. Other problems would be, as you can see, that women are protected from heart disease thanks to estrogen. Estrogen is like the mother protecting the baby. So women are protected by estrogen, the hormone. And menopause, where the estrogen finishes, that's when the protection moves away, and they become equal or even higher predisposed to heart attack compared to males. And sometimes most of the women that undergoes heart attack, of course, it's possible in pre-menopausal state also, but the incidence is higher. So that is another problem. The third problem is the bones. As you can see this, on the left side, the bone is more dense, where the other side, you can see more hollows inside. That the medical term is called osteoporosis, where the bones become more fragile, brittle, and they break. That is a problem that happens because of menopause. Finally, the most ominous sign. I said 12 months, no menses. Then suddenly, if the lady gets bleeding, now that is something the lady should consider as a red flag sign and definitely meet the gynecologist. Because many malignancy, especially uterine cancer, gives the symptoms that way. So if a lady who has become menopausal starts having bleeding through the vagina, they should meet the doctor or gynecologist immediately. Now, just to give you an idea how the bones, because this is something that we always stress on, because many ladies in the postmenopausal stage gets into fracture. So if you can look at this, how the normal bone, how the density is, and you can see how the hollowness of the bone. I was thinking of, this is in Bengali, we call this patkati. They use it for homam and all that. So you just break it and put it in the fire. I don't know how many of you know that. So when we talk about the brittleness of the bone, that's what comes in my mind. It becomes so brittle that some of the stick, I was looking for the English name, it's called leaf stick. I have no idea about the English name, but that some of them are really strong, but some of them you can just break it like that. So that's exactly what happens. And this is a very dangerous thing to happen. So now the problems are not, they're not talking about it. The problem is about heart issues. They're more prone to heart attacks. The bones become weaker, and if they have bleeding, that can be a problem. So now we cannot just stop talking about problems. We have to think of solutions, because everyone can talk about problems, but unless we think of solutions, there's no way to go. So the question is, how can we solve this? The first and foremost thing that I thought, okay, before that, let me talk about some other symptoms as well. The night sweats, because I promised you to talk about symptoms. Night sweats are when they have sweating, they're sleeping okay, but then suddenly they wake up in the night with bed sheet drenched with sweat. Now this can have other implications as well, but night sweats can be like unexplained. And these are all the symptoms are due to estrogen depletion. Hot flashes. This is something that is difficult to explain, but the lady will say, so much, I feel so much heat around the chest, the throat area, and the face area. And in fair individuals, you can actually see the face turning red. The third one, sleep disturbance. This can be because of the night sweats or hot flashes as well. Generally, the sleep is also reduced. Finally, thinning of hair. Estrogen plays a role, like they are antagonistic with the male hormone, that is testosterone. So testosterone is known for making guys lose hair. So no other reason. And when the estrogen depletes, the testosterone say, yeah, we are the boss. And that's when the hair follicle growth shrinks. So it's not like they become bald, but their hair becomes thin. And finally, the weight gain. The weight gain is not probably because like oh, you're eating this and eating fatty food, the metabolism slows down. The metabolism slows down, and therefore the same food that they eat, they cannot metabolize properly, and that ends up having into weight gain and deposit in the body. They're not burnt out, as we call it. So these are some symptoms, but the problems that we are very, very worried about would be have to talk about it, the cardiac disease, the bones, and finally the bleeding. Now, moving on, as I was telling, the solution. Solution is to talk about it. We need people, ladies in the menopausal age to talk about it. The 66% I talked about is actually the more of rural population when they actually took the statistics from the Indian side. I'll give you a story about, this is a real story and happened with one of my auntie. Now, when I say auntie, I know many of you think Indians, anyone elder called uncle, auntie. No, this is really my own auntie. Happened earlier when I was doing my final year post-graduation. She was perimenopausal, which means that when there is the menopause is occurring, it's like a obstruction in front. Just imagine, and you're driving a car, you see an obstruction in front. What do? You slow down and stop. That is menopause. So perimenopause is the slowing down phase where you slow down. That means the menses will become scanty, it will become irregular, and then finally it will stop. But in her case, it went reverse. Not that it's uncommon, happens. She started experiencing heavy menstrual bleed. Every period, she was having much more bleed than the normal. And I was in my final year post-graduation that time. I told her, like, you're having this for last like 3-4 cycles. Why don't you meet a gynecologist, at least get a scan done, and they might take a sample from the inside of the uterus to see if everything is correct, everything goes well or not, or just for sake of peace of mind, just get it done. And she said, yeah. How, I mean, of course, I'm an Indian, so I can tell you like how they are. Yeah, I'll get it done. Then, of course, I was not in her place. I went to do my post-graduation in Manipal. So I was not in Calcutta most of the time. And later, 6 months later, guess what I found? She was diagnosed with uterine cancer, stage 3. Now, I always regret that I was not persuasive enough that time. I suggested her that, why don't you get an evaluation done, an ultrasound done? But I was not persuasive, and that regret will stay with me forever. Because had I done that, she wouldn't have gone into stage 3 and passed away within 6-7 months later, she passed away. We could have salvaged her, given her a near normal life for quite a few years. She missed her daughter's wedding because of that. Well, I learned from that experience. Now, time came 2 years back when I bumped into a Toastmaster from Malaysia, and she was sharing her problem. Exactly the same scenario. She was touching her 50 and she was having the same thing, excessive bleeding. And she was using a lot of herbal products. Now, this time, I was already a Toastmaster, you see. So I created my power of persuasion, and I said, you must get the thing done. You must get the check done. And she did. Not immediately, after 1.5 months, still okay. And she was diagnosed with stage 1 uterine malignancy or uterine cancer. She had the operation done. She had a chemotherapy, and she's perfectly leading a life right now. Very active Toastmaster in Malaysia. So I can tell you, being vocal, being aware of issues can help. So that's the first step in a menopausal. Like sometimes we talk about, oh, medicine can help, but no, talking about it, sharing your problem will help. So first and foremost is awareness. Tell people that you be aware of what are the things that can cause, that problems it can lead to. And do not hide your problem. Do not wait till the major thing happen. Talk about it. The next thing I would say is diet and exercise. As I said, the metabolism slows down. So you need to choose your diet very carefully. Maybe the KFCs and the McDs can come down, or rather not at all, because salty food can predispose to hot flashes even more, especially salty food, dehydration, spicy food, alcohol, smoking. All these are predisposing factors. She will encounter night sweats and hot flashes even more. Exercise, I'm not saying to do high intensity interval training. Brisk walking, swimming is even better, and cycling if possible, some form of exercise on a routine basis. This will also strengthen the bones, but no jumping and all those things, because as I mentioned, the bones are not that strong. To keep a food which is rich in calcium. Next would be to think of many vegetables. Now, I know there will be many questions arises like, what about this food? What about that food? Ginger, garlic, how about turmeric, all these things, will it help? Yes, it helps in alleviating the symptoms of hot flashes, the menopausal symptoms that I mentioned to you. But it won't improve the bone strength. But this will definitely improve the symptoms, which we call in medical term vasomotor symptoms. But another thing I would suggest, and in Malaysia it's very common, that is the soya. Many people drink soya milk. It is very good source of phytoestrogen, which can reduce the vasomotor symptoms, especially the symptoms I mentioned about night sweats, hot flashes, and sleep disturbance, which of course can lead to mood lability. That means very, very moody they become, and things like that. Healthy food items, and not to forget the yearly checkup. Please make sure they come for at least one checkup, because that would also pick up things which she may not have symptoms for. One checkup every year. So as my time's running out, I just want to give these take-home points. Be vocal about menopausal issues. That's the first step to deal with it. Maintain good quality of life by exercise, not vigorous, but a moderate level of exercise with healthy diet. Watch for supportive food items during menopause. Do not skip your annual checkup. Consult your gynecologist for HRT related matters. Now, before I move on, I want to ask, did I miss out something? Anybody?
I just put in a question, Dr. Som. So I was just a bit more curious about what kind of health checks or blood work do women need to do when they're approaching menopause. You did mention the annual checks, but we are an international organization, and everywhere the annual checks are measured or they're different. So I thought
Correct.
I will ask you for anything specific that you recommend.
Sure. Before I go into the question answer, I just thought like something that I didn't touch upon is the hormone replacement therapy. So I was hoping someone would say, what about hormone replacement therapy? Yes, that is something, it's customized. That's why I don't want to give a generalized view. There are two different hormone replacement therapy. One is the synthetic version that we often use. And the second one is we get it from equine estrogen. That means equine estrogens means horse estrogen. This is one group of drugs. Another one, which we obtain from the plant, which is similar in structure to human estrogen, or this is called bioidentical hormone. This bioidentical hormone replacement therapy is in vogue, and that is considered much more safer than the synthetic one. Now, before we give that, as the question Brinda has put there, every woman has to be taken as like they have to be consulted and taken a specific history, because everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different risk factor. Everyone needs to be like the HRT needs to be customized. And that is one reason I was not planning to touch upon the HRT, because it's not a one size fits all. Now, moving to the question, it's already read, but I have some Q&A time, I believe. What health checks, blood works do women nearing menopause? Okay, let's move on. So first and foremost, I said heart. Yes, definitely one ECG would be a good idea to get us starting. Lipid profile, or in simple terms, cholesterol, LDL, HDL, triglycerides. These four should be maintained within normal limits. This is something which can go haywire and cause other problems. The other blood, of course, most of them would recommend nowadays when they go for health packages, they will have liver function, renal function, full blood picture, thyroid, everything they would do, but lipid profile is something that we definitely want to look forward to. Now, if the lady is really worried about bones, there is something called DEXA, dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. Now, this is in simple terms, X-ray to see the bone density. If the bone density is less, then we have medications for those women to take to improve the bone density. But I mentioned that when they go for exercise or like say walking, when they are not sedentary lifestyle, when there is pressure on the bones automatically absorbs calcium. And this helps to keep the bone not so brittle, but relatively strong. And the second one would be, okay, apart from the blood, the health checks, one thing I would definitely suggest is mammography, whether they are taking HRT or not HRT. If they're taking HRT, definitely one before HRT, and on a routine basis, they have to do mammography. Well, many people suggest at 40, but if you have like risk factors in the family, then you have to meet the surgeons and they would recommend accordingly. Now, why mammography? You can always say, I can do self-breast examination and I can feel a lump, I can go to a doctor. But mammography gives you a 2 years edge, heads up. What you get in mammography, you will get only 2 years later with your hand when you palpate. When you feel for the lump, you'll be 2 years delayed. So mammography is one thing that will help you to stay ahead. I hope I answered. Okay. Moving to question by Kanika, does operation of a lady lead to menopause? Yes. Yes, that is called surgical menopause. That means because of various conditions of the uterus, where there is a tumor in the uterus or tumor in the ovaries, and the drastic decision of hysterectomy has been taken, where the lady has been advised that, okay, we need to remove your ovaries as well. Yes, they can enter something called surgical menopause because the source of estrogen is taken off. Now, estrogen is not just one type, there are many types, but the most potent estrogen, which is called estradiol or E2 in short, occurs in the ovary. Many of you may not know that our adrenal glands also produces estrogen, but a weak one called estriol or E3. Now the question is the E2 that is produced, that is causing all the safety measures for women. And when the ovaries are removed, they may have caused the menopausal symptoms as you see. Now, do they have these menopausal symptoms throughout their life? No. It depends, like some women may face all the symptoms that I mentioned for 2 years, some may face for 5 years. But if we are giving HRT, we should not exceed more than 5 years, ideally. Now, there could be controversy. They will say, no, less than 5 years, but maximum 5 years. If you go more than 5 years, then it can cause more damage because hormone replacement therapy is a double-edged sword. It can help, it can heal, it can also kill. Right. So any other question? Actually that's the thing. I said, like, we can always give statistics, but you know, the bell curve, someone can go much skewed on the other side. Like if you look into literature, they might say that, no, it can go on forever till lifelong. She can have, after menopause, she can encounter night sweats and all. Maybe for them, you might advise something like vitamin E or evening primrose oil to help to alleviate the symptoms. Okay, thyroid is a totally different ball game. That's a different hormone with its own sets of functionality. So after her, she's also undergoing thyroid. I presume you mean thyroid operation. If the thyroid is removed, they have to be supplemented by thyroxine hormone so that the body functions. Thyroxine is a very important hormone to maintain the metabolism of the body. And do you know I was told like some of the fitness institutes, they misuse by adding thyroxine hormones into the drink so that people lose weight faster, but that is a short-term effect. So thyroxine is a lovely hormone. It causes the body metabolism to maintain as it is. No thyroxine, body goes haywire. Right, any other questions? Because Toastmaster Vamsi is flashing the red for quite some time. If not, thank you very much for the patient listening. Okay. Back to you, Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dr. Som. It was such a wonderful and insightful presentation. I really appreciate it. Let's give a round of applause for Dr. Som, please. And I'm going to use the word of the day, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to say to all the ladies, and I would encourage all the men in the room to pass on this word to all the women in their life. Respond and react. Please listen to this speech by Dr. Som and respond and react and take responsibility. Be accountable for your own health. I would encourage the women to diarize their health checkups so that they are more measured in their self-care. And with that, let me move on to the next section, which is the prepared speech. And before I invite speaker Arav Saxena, let me invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Shahid Sheikh, to talk about Arav's speech. Thank you, and over to you, Shahid.
Yeah, hello everyone once again. And coming to the evaluation criteria. So this evaluation is just like how we were going with the speech and how we were prepared, and all those things we will cover as part of this. So this will help us, each member, to what else we can improve ourselves, so become a better version of ourselves. So I will be evaluating the topic from Arav. Over to you, Vrinda.
Shahid, can you introduce the topic for Arav's speech?
Actually, I'm also not aware of the topic. Okay, I just see the topic in the chart. A trap of junk. Okay. Maybe it's maybe regarding the junk food, it seems. So which is very much related to our Sattvic Toastmasters topic. So over to you, Vrinda.
Over to you, Arav. So the floor is all yours. Good luck with your speech, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Okay, let me begin with the speech. I hope I'm visible and loud and clear, I would say. Cool. Thanks, Shahid. A trap of junk. Today, I am with a seemingly innocent package in my hand. This humble bag of chips, crunchy, delicious, and undeniably addictive. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. I stand before you today, not as an expert nutritionist or a fitness guru, but as someone who wants to share his own journey with you all. A journey that led me from the tempting trap of junk food to the joy of a healthier lifestyle, all while juggling the hectic life of a student. Not too long ago, if I can remember, I was a typical student surviving on a diet of fast food, chips, and soda. You could say I had a black belt in spotting the nearest pizza joint, and my cravings for sweets were legendary. I used to joke that my brain ran on energy drinks and my veins flowed with cheese sauce. One day, a friend of mine with genuine concern in his eyes said, "Hey, all that junk food might be affecting your health and focus." My initial response? I laughed it off. I brushed it aside and assumed I was invincible. I mean, who needs salads and smoothies when you can have burgers and milkshakes, right? But somewhere in the back of my mind, that conversation lingered. I couldn't shake off that thought that maybe I could feel better if I made a few changes. So I decided to embark on a mission to discover a healthier lifestyle that wouldn't compromise my busy student life. Uh, Now you must be wondering, how did I do that? Being a student, I knew I couldn't dive headfirst into a complete diet overhaul. So I started small. Instead of mindlessly munching on chips during study sessions or while watching my favorite show on the TV, I swapped them for trail mix of sliced fruits. Apple being my favorite, cause an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Remember? At first, it was strange, but I noticed I felt more energized and focused. Later, of course, breaking up with the junk food isn't easy. Completely, if I'm talking. The struggle was real. There was days when the aroma of French fries from the campus cafeteria would tempt me like never before. But you know what I did? I imagined those fries as tiny villains trying to distract me from my superhero goal of living healthier. It sounds silly, I know, but it worked. It made me laugh, and laughter is a great weapon against temptations. I know you'll all agree with that. But you know what's the best part? It wasn't just about food, it was about feeling better overall. I noticed that I started nourishing my body, that when I started nourishing my body with nutritious food, I had more energy to handle those long study sessions. I could tackle my assignments with clarity and focus, and I felt less stressed out during my exams. Now, wait a second. Before you start thinking I have completely sworn off those tantalizing chips, let me be clear. I'm only human, and I must admit, they still hold a special place in my heart, or rather, I would say, my taste buds. But fear not, I've learned to tame the chips monster and strike a balance between temptation and triumph. As I conclude this journey from junk to joy, I leave you with a captivating image, one that might just stick with you like the taste of those chips. Imagine life as a spider's web, and we are like flies drawn into its tempting threads of indulgence. We have a choice to make: remain entangled in the trap of unhealthy habits, or summon the courage to break free. Remember a famous quote of John F. Kennedy: every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. Embrace that power, take that leap, and soar beyond that confines web of the familiar, the familiar web. As we leave behind the sticky allure of those chips and sodas, we step into a world of greater vitality and strength and well-being. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Arav. That was an excellent speech. And I'm very happy to see that you're now uh, responding to your salty temptations and not reacting always with a bag of chips. And with that said, Let us move on to the most popular and interesting section, which is the table topics section. The table topics are 1 to 2 minute speeches where you speak off the cuff. Now, because we are a bit short of time, I'll still, we will have a few sessions, and I will hand over the floor to our table topic master for today, DTM Raghu. Over to you, DTM Raghu.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vrunda. Table topic is simple. It is just handling the moments where you respond and not react. That's what life is about, right? There are several moments in your life when you have to speak on toast, and Toastmaster gives you a great platform or give you the table topics where you can attempt speak on the spot, and you need to apply your critical thinking. I will give you a topic. You need to speak for at least 1 minute and maximum is 2 minutes. You have a grace of 30 seconds. Timer will show timer cards, and he has already specified how you're going to show that. Now, I'll give a topic. Who is the first one? Any Toastmaster in the room who wants to attempt? Pratik, do you want to go first? Pratik Agrawal?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Wonderful. How would you handle your mood swings? Toastmaster Pratik, how do you handle your mood swings?
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu, for the wonderful topic. And I will relate it with the objectives or the goals or the objective of our Sattvic Toastmasters Club. No doubts, like at different stages of life, like when you get married, then when you have children, or when you reach 30s or when you reach 40s, you have different types of situations in front of you. And when sometimes situation is not in your control, you have mood swings. And for taking care of mood swings, you have different options with you. Like you can talk to your friend, you can do self-talk, and there are so many things like you can do meditation or some types of breathing exercise. So whenever I have mood swings, I'm in a situation which is not in my control, or in a situation which can be controlled by others, I need to take care of my mind. I will go for a walk, I will do a self-talk. And if at that point of time, I'm in a particular place where I can sit and relax and do some type of breathing exercise, I go for it. So with this, I will just tell that one of the breathing exercise which I do is called vibromagnetic breath, which is a breath which I learned from Brahma Vidya. That exercise, when I do, I feel so relaxed, and all the negative thoughts which are coming in my mind just goes away. Maybe this time is not permitting. So whenever I will give my speech, I will add one of the breathing exercise, which will help all of us to come out of that negative situation. So in this way, by the way of self-talk, by the way of breathing exercise, I handle my mood swings. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Now the next topic too is any man in the room who wants to attempt. Anyone who want to attempt in the room? You want to do, Shai?
Yes, Raghu.
Okay, wonderful. The question is little controversial. I want you to answer that, okay? In most of the traditions across the world, women are confined to kitchen or the household thing. What is your opinion on that? Should men not contribute?
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So our topic is like women are mostly confined to kitchen, and we are not letting them, or we are not giving the freedom them to do whatever they wish. It's across all the traditions over the globe. It's not like that. So this is a topic, controversial topic. So how we will take it and how we will interpret, that decides how we will take the actions, or how we will decide how it is going to be. Let's say, I will say the tradition, as I being a Muslim. So let's say in the Muslims, you will be seeing all the women are covered with the burqas, and everyone think like why they are covered like that, and why they are not letting their men to go outside and do work. It's not like that. If you see, their women are well educated in our Muslim community as well. They know how to handle the things. It's just a tradition which is protecting them. Along with that tradition, if they are willing to do any work outside, they are equally capable as of a man. It is that our perception we see. If you see in the corporates also, women are there in higher positions. How it is possible? Is it because the men are holding, or they are only confined to the kitchen? They are very good managers as well. They are not confined to kitchens or homely life only. They are well educated. They got their responsibilities, and in some in the YouTube also I've seen like in few families, men are working in their home, they're doing all the household things, and women are going to get their livelihood. So in this manner, I think like, so the women are not only confined to the kitchen, they have their own insights and they have their own rights. So in that way, men should not react to them. We should respond to them, whatever they have in their views. We should respect their views, and we should encourage them to do whatever they wish to do in their life. With this, I conclude my topic. Over to you, Toastmaster Raghu.
I'm impressed, Shahid, by your response. Thank you very much for that. Anyone else who want to try?
I'll try.
Welcome, Srinivas. Okay. Okay. Again, a controversial question. Probably.
Sure.
How often you cook and help your better half?
Cooking is not my strength. It's definitely not my strength. So when you talk about cooking, I think I'm good with just Maggi and boiling eggs. That will be more and less best out of it. I mean, to the point, I can even go wrong when it's making Maggi. You know, the 2 minutes becomes 2.5 to 3, sometimes it's undercooked and overcooked, and things can go wrong. It's somehow not there. Now, when the question comes, how do I help my spouse in cooking? I do 3 important things. I do the logistics. I drive her there. She picks up the things. I carry them to the car. And at times I even help to unload and all those things. So I thought that I do the behind the scenes work. So it's like pre-cooking and post-cooking. One of the things I like to do, I like to comment, not just at home, but everywhere I am. Now, I may not know cooking, but I'm something like Simon Cowell, who cannot sing, but he can definitely comment on the singers. So I can be that kind of person because I believe I have a perspective. I have a perspective and I have a case to tell what's not right without having a solution of what can be done to be right. So in overall aspect, if you look into it, it makes things more interesting to share from a perspective of a person who technically has no knowledge or understanding much about cooking, but has wonderful understanding about what it means to be a customer, or what it means to a person who's tasting the entire thing and saying for perspective. And I believe in life, you need both of them. As somebody said that if you have pain in your life and you have gone through that, you are the biggest humorous person because you have gone through the biggest pains and challenges in your life. And somebody says that if you have gone through toughest of the times, you are the most inspirational person because you have overcome all those tough times and failures, and success means a lot more to you. And same thing, if you have gone through and made worst of the cookings, you are the best person who can appreciate the cooking because you know your capacity, you know what other person has done. So there can be nobody much more appreciative than you because you know your best and you know your best is the worst in most of the standards. So back to you.
Music to ears, I would say. DTM Srinivas. No, Kanika wants to try. Kanika, it's okay. We are all learning. There's no judgment here. Okay, just come forward. And I really appreciate that you are coming forward to talk. Kanika, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone.
Kanika, the topic for you is, are women and men really equal? Are women and men really equal? Kanika.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Like the question that you have asked, are the men and women equal? Like I am living in such a society where completely not. Sorry, completely not, because in many societies, people think that women have been considered as a back in a backward way, so they are not allowed to do the official works and other things. They have been limited to household chores. So completely, I'm not completely satisfied with this because I am living in such a society where my parents are allowing me, because they are allowing me to do the higher studies and all, but in my nearby houses, like uh, girls like me, they have not been allowed, because in college too they have been allowed to do the college in the private sector, and in the home only they are finishing their courses and their college life. So they have been limited to their home extent only, and they have been asked to do the household works, not to think more about that, not to enhance or explore your mind. So I'm not completely convinced. I just want that particular mindset of all the people. We have men, even just like their brother and sister, both of them are allowed to go for higher studies or any other dream they want to pursue for that. So thanks a lot, um, Raghu sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak about.
Thank you very much, Kanika. I hope you keep joining our meetings and keep going. The
Thanks a
popular
lot.
saying in our culture, Karyeshu dasi karneshu mantri, bhojeshu mata shaineshu ramba, dharmanukula kshamaya daritri, varyacha sharshyantiha durlabha. There's so many colors of a woman, and women and men can never be equal because women are always on the top. I always see that whenever we come back from a tiring journey, it is the woman who can always cook and make things better at home. We are always lying there making excuses, right? The men are there. That is the power that Almighty God has given to the woman. Let's celebrate that womanhood every day, every time, not wait for the Women's Day. With that note, I conclude my theme as table topic master and give control to our wonderful lady in the room, Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raghu. That was an excellent brain game wherein you gave us a lot of controversial topics, and it was a great discussion. And now we move on to the last section of our meeting, which is evaluations. These evaluations are meant to help the speakers reflect on the strengths and areas of improvements, and also identify blind spots. Constructive feedback is delivered with empathy and respect, which is the hallmark of Toastmasters. So there is no judgment out here. And now, with that said, let me invite speech evaluator for today, Shahid Sheikh, for his speech evaluation report for Speaker Arav Saxena. Over to you, Shahid.
Yeah, thank you, Vrinda. Yeah. So coming to today's Arav's topic, a trap of junk. So it's very much engaging and very much related to our topic, Sattvic lifestyle. So you have taken a good topic, Arav, and it is very much engaging, and throughout this, it's very smooth going, and you are very cool while giving the topic. And the topic wise, whatever the content you have prepared, and it is very much related to your personal experience, so it was very effective. So it's not just like a giving a topic, giving a speech. You have given your personal experiences so that it will help everyone, being a live example which we can also make ourselves get out of it. It's just like uh, not react to the situation, we should respond to it. In the current situation, we'll be eating very much junk food. So this topic of yours will help us very much to react to the situation. And your topic wise clarity is good, and your tone is good. And sometimes I'm just missing some pitches, some ups and downs. So it better to it's just a suggestion. It's like to just improve something on your pitches. And you showed the live examples of chips packet and the soda. So that is very much effective, giving an example. So as you are currently following the Sattvic style, hope those are not useful for you. You can send it to the Toastmasters. We can distribute among ourselves. And you are in this in throughout your speech, you have used your hands and your face gestures very effectively. That is one big advantage for your speech. And in your speech, you have used some good words, like I have just captured few of them. There are many. So you have used a legendary, vein with cheese and sauce, how much you are having that attractiveness towards your things, and embark on a mission, and more energized and focused. And one thing is like a rhyming junk to joy. So these are the few things which I have noted down from your topic. And you have given best examples how you come across. But I just if it will be more effective, like you are in such a, in your veins and all yours, you have that thrust towards the junk food. But what incident made you come out of that? So if you have added that, a brief about it, that will be more effective. So overall, it is very good topic and very good presentation from you, Arav. Yeah, thank you for giving this opportunity to evaluate. Over to you, Brinda.
Thanks a lot, Shah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shahid. That was an excellent, detailed report. And with that, now let's invite the tag team. And the first of them, I would like to invite the timer for his timer report. So over to you, Toastmaster Vamshi, for your timer report.
Vamshi, you there? I think you can go with the other reports while Vamshi is back.
Sure. Yeah. So in the meanwhile,
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry, Brinda, I was on
okay.
mute.
Sure, go ahead.
Can you please allow me the screen sharing?
Okay, give me a minute. There you go.
Yeah, this is my timer report. The keynote speaker took 25 minutes 4 seconds, and the speaker took 6 minutes 43 seconds. Coming table topics, Pratik Agarwal took 2 minutes 0 seconds, and Shahid took 2 minutes 7 seconds. And Srinivas took 2 minutes 11 seconds, and Kanika took 1 minute 47 seconds. Coming to evaluation part, Shahid took 2 minutes 50 seconds. That is my timer report. Yeah, thank you. Back to you, Vanda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vamsi. And the next is the R counter. Let me invite Toastmaster JK Arora for the R count report. Over to you, J.K. Arora.
Good morning. Thank you, Brinda, Toastmaster of the day. Our counter, I think we have a very good speaker, Mr. Dr. Som and RF Saxena. So they have good. And Kanika and Srinivasan, they have a few words they have repeat. Maybe they got emotional while speaking, but otherwise this is good. Thank you.
Thank you, J.K. Arora. And the next is the grammarian report. And let me invite Toastmaster Pratik for his report on the language usage and the word of the day usage. Over to you, Pratik. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vinda. So I'm very happy to say and give the report that 5 Toastmasters have used the word of the day. So thumbs up for them. Vinda used 4 times, and she not only used the word of the day as it is, she also improvised based on the situation which was there to bring more focus on that. So very good. Toastmaster Raghu used word of the day for once, and Shahid used 2 times. Now coming to the some usage of the words, I'm very happy that we are having wonderful speakers. So I will just tell the good usages and not so good usages of the words, starting with good usages, like not persuasive enough, stay with me forever, being vocal, then living with menopause is wonderful topic, then generalized view, bioidentical hormone, patient listening, the floor is yours, unbelievably addictive, tempting track of junk food, mindlessly munching, an apple a day keeps a doctor away, great weapons against temptation, tantalizing chips. There are so many things which can go on. I can keep on writing, I can keep on telling, but for the paucity of time, I am just restricting myself to something. So somebody use something which needs to be improved. Somebody use like, so that can be restricted. In the home, you can use at home. Then very much junk food. You can use a lot of junk food. Or all in all, it was a wonderful session. Over to you, Toastmaster Vinda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pratik. That was an excellent report and a lot of observations. I'm sure you were very busy noting down. And with that said, this wraps up our meeting theme for today. It was a very insightful meeting, a lot of takeaways for each of us, I think, definitely for me. And I'm going to circulate the recording of this meeting amongst my friends and family. So we will be posting a recording of this meeting on YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is called Sattvic Toastmasters. And I would also like to take this opportunity to get some feedback. We have a few guests and visitors in the room, and I would like, if anybody wants to go ahead and share some feedback, I would welcome that.